My girlfriend could never draw the line with her guy friend. I got fed up. I decided I was done, that she could have him. But before we split, I was going to collect some interest. After all, she's going to be someone else's wife. Why should I be gentle? It's time for me to stand up. Turns out, she was so consumed by guilt that to prevent a breakup, she became astonishingly obedient. Cooperative even. Later, after I made it clear we would never get married, her mother pressured her into marrying that passive-aggressive snake. Huh, the tables have turned. Now it's my turn to have her at my beck and call. Time to play his game, but better. 1. Giving up the night settled in. I sat at the dining table, staring at the message on my phone screen. Hey, honey. The office just called an all-nighter. Project deadline got moved up. I'm going to be late. You go ahead and eat. Don't wait for me. The text came half an hour ago. The food on the table was already cold. The anniversary dinner I'd carefully planned was, once again, a joke. I forced a smile, texted back a habitual, okay, and tossed my phone aside. Freaking work again. This was the 3rd time this month. Every time, it was a last-minute emergency. Every time, it was a project deadline. And every time, I was the one left staring at a cold meal by myself. I tipped my head back and downed half a glass of red wine, a familiar irritation churning in my gut. Just then, my phone lit up again. An Instagram notification. I tapped it open. A photo filled the screen. In an open-concept kitchen, she stood with her back to the camera, wearing an apron, her slender figure bent over a skillet. The table was set with wine, candles, and 2 place settings. The caption, that warm, home-cooked feeling. Thanks to my own personal secret chef, heart emoji, posted by Ethan, her friend. My fingers clenched into a fist. All-nighter. Project deadline. Don't wait for me. Huh. So this was her overtime. Cooking for Ethan. I stared at the photo, a knot tightening in my chest. It's him again, Ethan. Her platonic guy friend. Her best friend from college. He helped her once when she was a new hire, and ever since, I owe him one became her go-to excuse. He's just a friend. You're overthinking it. There's really nothing going on between us. That was her script every time we fought. But every time, she'd bail on me for him, lie to me for him, give me the silent treatment for him. And now she was straight up lying about work to go cook his place? I took a deep breath. 0 likes, 0 comments. Damn, he must have posted it so only I could see it. Unbelievable. I scoffed and took a screenshot. Ethan was doing this on purpose. He was provoking me. And my girlfriend, Chloe, was at his apartment right now, in an apron, making him dinner. Fine. Just fine. I shut off my phone and polished off the rest of the wine. The alcohol burned in my stomach, but my mind was crystal clear. If you can't draw a line, if you think he's more important than me, then starting today, you're no longer my future wife. I stared out at the pitch-black night, my eyes turning to ice. But I will be collecting my interest, down to the last cent. 2. A cold observer at midnight. The sound of a key turning in the lock echoed through the apartment. I was sitting on the living room couch in the dark, the only light coming from my phone screen. The door creaked open, and she tiptoed inside. You're still awake? She froze, her voice laced with guilt. I didn't say a word. I just turned my phone so the screen faced her. The screenshot. Ethan's Instagram post. Her back in the apron with the caption, that warm, home-cooked feeling. The color drained from her face. I can explain. She fumbled with her purse, words spilling out in a rush. Ethan was moving today. He had people over, and he just asked me to help cook a couple of things. It was just helping. I didn't tell you the truth because I was afraid you'd get the wrong idea. I remained silent, just staring at her. Her explanation trailed off. She twisted the hem of her shirt, her eyes darting around the room. The silence was suffocating. Finally, I stood up and walked past her, heading straight for the bedroom. Wait. Panicked, she reached out to grab me. Let me finish. I stopped and looked back at her. No anger. No accusations. Just a calm that bordered on indifference. In that instant, her hand froze mid-air, her pupils constricting slightly. She had seen me angry, seen me lose my temper, but she had never seen this look in my eyes before. It was like I was looking at a stranger. I turned, went into the bedroom, and closed the door. 3. The first step a few moments later, the bedroom door opened quietly, and she slipped inside. I leaned against the headboard, watching her with cold eyes. She didn't come closer, just stood with her head down like a child who'd been caught. I'm sorry. Her voice was thick and nasal. I really do only love you. I know I was wrong. She bit her lip. I'll never lie to you again. I won't go help him anymore. I still said nothing. The silence in the room was crushing. Finally, unable to bear it, she walked over and sat gingerly on the edge of the bed, reaching out to touch my arm. I moved it away. Her hand hung in the air, her eyes wild with panic. Let's break up, I said coldly. No, I won't. There's nothing going on with him. She clutched at my shirt. What will it take for you to believe me? I let out a humorless laugh, saying nothing. What will it take for you to forgive me? Her voice trembled. Just tell me. I'll do anything. I looked at her and finally spoke. Go take a shower. She blinked, confused. And then, I said flatly, put on that silk negligee I bought you last month. Her face flushed a deep crimson. I bought her that set, black, very revealing. She was so embarrassed when she got it that she shoved it into the bottom of a drawer. She'd never worn it. And now, I stared at her, my face a blank mask. If you don't want to, forget it. No, I'll do it. She shot up as if afraid I'd change my mind. I'll go change right now. She practically fled into the bathroom and shut the door. The sound of the shower started moments later. I leaned back against the headboard, listening, a faint smile playing on my lips. A woman with no boundaries. I didn't want her anymore. She could be with whoever she wanted in the future. Since she was going to be someone else's wife anyway. Why did I need to be gentle? 20 minutes later, the bathroom door opened. She hesitated for a long time before finally stepping out, her hands crossed in front of her, face burning, eyes avoiding mine. She stood by the bed, too ashamed to look up. What are you standing there for? Give me a twirl, I commanded. She bit her lip and slowly turned in a circle, her fingers gripping the hem of the negligee. I sized her up, my gaze unflinching. Come here. I patted the space next to me. She walked over with her head down. The moment she sat, I grabbed her wrist and pulled her into my lap. She gasped, instinctively trying to struggle before stopping, obediently resting against my chest. Have you learned your lesson? I whispered into her ear. She nodded weakly. I have. Are you ever going to lie to me again? Never again. I tilted her chin up, forcing her to look at me. Remember what you just said? I sneered. Or else. I didn't finish the sentence, but she clearly understood. She nodded. Collecting my interest had only just begun, for boiling the frog morning sunlight filtered through the blinds. I opened my eyes and found her curled up in my arms, fast asleep. I emotionlessly slid my arm out from under her and got out of bed. The movement woke her. She groggily rubbed her eyes, her voice soft and sleepy. What time is it? 7:30, I said without looking back as I walked into the bathroom. When I came out from my shower, she had changed back into her usual clothes and was in the kitchen making breakfast. Hearing me, she turned around, a cautious smile on her face. I made eggs and bacon. Do you want? From now on, I cut her off. When you're at home, you'll wear what I tell you to wear. Her hand, holding the spatula, froze. What? I pulled up a picture on my phone. It was a preppy schoolgirl outfit from some online store, a vintage style, but with a very short skirt and a lace ribbon at the collar. This will be delivered today. You'll wear it on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Her face went beet red. That's too much. You don't want to? I raised an eyebrow. Fine by me. As I made a move to take my phone back, she quickly pressed her hand over mine. No, I'll wear it. Her fingertips were trembling, but she said it firmly. I'll wear it, as long as you're not angry anymore. I gave a cold laugh and pulled my hand back. Let's eat. As if granted a pardon, she hurried to put the breakfast on the table. Halfway through the meal, her phone rang. She glanced at it. Her expression shifted, and she instinctively looked at me. Ethan, I asked without looking up. She bit her lip and nodded. He said his cat is sick, and he asked if I could. You want to go? I put down my fork. She immediately shook her head. No, I'll tell him no right now. She fumbled to type out a reply, then held the phone out for me to see. She had turned Ethan down, her tone firm. I showed no reaction, simply stood up. I want short ribs for dinner tonight. Okay, I'll buy them after work, she promised, her eyes lighting up as if this were the greatest gift in the world. As I was leaving, I called out to her. Oh, by the way, she spun around, looking at me expectantly. From now on, in private, you'll call me sir, I said coolly. Got it. The tips of her ears turned bright red, but she nodded obediently. Got it, sir. After I closed the door, I watched through the peephole. She stood there for a long moment before slowly walking toward the elevator. The first step is always the hardest, but once you start, it gets easier and easier. I picked up my phone and saw Ethan had posted another Facebook status visible only to me. Some people just don't understand boundaries, smiley face. The picture was of an empty cat carrier, clearly complaining that she'd refused to help with his cat. I smirked and saved the screenshot. Thanks for giving me another reason, you passive-aggressive snake. 5. A change of pace on the weekend, I leaned back on the couch, watching her busy in the kitchen. She was wearing a simple beige house dress, the hem swaying gently as she chopped vegetables. Come here. I crooked my finger. She immediately put down the knife, wiped her hands on her apron, and hurried over. What is it? Change your dress. I scrolled through my phone and pulled up a picture. This one. The package is in the bedroom. Go open it and put on. On the screen was a black, lace-trimmed dress that barely reached mid-thigh. A few of the more interesting outfits I'd ordered from Amazon had arrived. This was the most normal of the bunch. What's that? You say cheap clothes are bad for your skin? Not my problem. She's not my wife. The tips of her ears instantly turned red. She nervously fiddled with her apron strings. It's too short. I put my phone away, my tone flat. Suit yourself. She stood there, conflicted, for a long moment before finally turning toward the bedroom. I'll go change now. 10 minutes later, she shuffled out. Give me a spin. She bit her lip and slowly turned in a circle. Very nice. That dress looks great on you. Wear it on the weekends from now on. I patted the cushion next to me. Come here. She obediently came and sat on the floor next to my legs. Let me hear you say it, I said, tilting her chin up. Sir, she whispered. Didn't hear you. Sir, she yelled, squeezing her eyes shut, her whole body trembling. I kissed her forehead, satisfied. Good girl. Just then, her phone lit up. A message from Ethan was displayed prominently on the lock screen. Thanks for helping me organize my place the other day, Hart. I scoffed and tossed the phone aside. Her whole body went rigid. I'm sorry, it was just that day when I was cooking. I tidied up the kitchen a bit. No need to explain. I stroked her long hair. Go make dinner. I am hungry. My tolerance was more agonizing for her than my anger. Even at dinner, she kept putting food on my plate, her eyes cautiously trying to please me. Can't you make something else? I'm getting sick of short ribs every day, I said suddenly. What do you want to eat? I'll go buy it. Whatever. I cut her off. But you need to make something different every day. Like that pineapple braised beef recipe that's all over TikTok. I saw a flicker of hesitation in her eyes, but it was quickly replaced by a nod. I'll do my best to make it perfect. Before bed, Ethan posted another Facebook status visible only to me. A lonely night, missing the days when I had company. The picture was of the teddy bear Chloe had given him. I screenshotted it, saved it, and turned off my phone. 6. Swan Lake on another weekend evening. Moonlight streamed through the floor-to-ceiling windows, bathing the living room in a silver glow. She was kneeling by the coffee table, clumsily trying to massage my shoulders based on an online tutorial. The schoolgirl outfit fit her perfectly, the short skirt shifting with her every move. Sir, is this pressure okay? She asked timidly. I didn't answer, just held my phone out in front of her. The screen showed Ethan's latest Facebook post, a picture of a single movie ticket stub, captioned, "A movie for one." A little lonely. Her fingers froze. Her massage stopped. Want to go keep him company? My voice was flat. No. She shook her head frantically. I was just what? I turned to face her, looking directly into her eyes. Feeling sorry for him, she trembled, unable to meet my gaze. Of course you do. You still care more about him. After all, he misses all those times you kept him company. That's not it. I love you, I just feel guilty. That's why I didn't say anything. She rushed to explain. He helped me before, and he kept asking for favors, so I felt bad turning him down. I suddenly smiled, reaching up to cup her cheek. Since you feel so guilty, why not show it with your actions? She looked up confused. I pulled back all the curtains. Across the way, the windows of the neighboring apartment building were all lit up. Right here, I pointed to the spot where the moonlight was brightest. Dance Swan Lake for me. But I just stared at her. She fell silent. And then she began. 478 words of intimate, emotionally charged description removed for adaptation. By the time the dance was over, her face was streaked with tears. She stumbled into my arms, her body ice cold. What are you crying for? You danced beautifully. She trembled violently in my arms, clutching my waist tightly. I won't do it again. I really won't. My phone buzzed. Ethan had updated his status again, a photo of an empty coffee cup. Caption, not even anyone to talk to. I sneered and tossed the phone aside. Your loneliness is not my problem. This is my time now. 7. The lie at 1 in the morning. The vibration of a phone woke me up. She tiptoed out of bed and went to the balcony to answer the call. Don't lie to me. My boyfriend already misunderstood because I was helping you. Her hushed, fragmented voice drifted in. Really? How could this happen? Don't panic. I'll be right. I switched on the bedside lamp. She spun around in panic, and the phone clattered to the floor. Yes, sir. She scrambled to pick it up. My best friend just got dumped. She won't stop crying. I watched her performance quietly, my eyes scanning the jacket she'd hastily thrown on and the corner of a box of stomach medicine peeking out of her purse. Ethan had a chronic ulcer, and she always kept his medication on hand. Go on, I said calmly. Be careful. She froze, her lips trembling. You're not mad? Why would I be mad? I even managed a small smile. He seems to need you more. Of course, I needed her to go. The guilt would give me leverage to unlock. She staggered back a couple of steps and suddenly crumpled to the floor, the phone slipping from her grasp. She must have accidentally hit the speaker button because Ethan's voice filled the silence. Chloe, the doctor said it might be stomach cancer. I'm so scared. Can you just... She fumbled to end the call and looked up at me. I'm sorry. Elite. It was him. I know. I cut her off, my voice terrifyingly calm. Go. Don't let his condition get worse. This unnatural display of understanding completely broke her. She threw herself at my legs, sobbing hysterically. I'm not going. I'm never going again. Please, don't be like this. I pried her fingers off me and took a coat from the closet. It's hard to get an Uber this late. I'll drive you. She stared at me like I was a monster, shaking uncontrollably. When we pulled up in front of Ethan's apartment building, she gripped the seatbelt, refusing to get out. Sir, can we please just go home? I leaned over and unbuckled her seatbelt, even taking a moment to smooth her messy hair. He's waiting for you. That was the last straw. She suddenly started hitting her own head in a frenzy of despair. I was wrong. I really know I was wrong. I grabbed her wrist to stop her from hurting herself. In the rearview mirror, I saw Ethan standing at the building entrance, his face dark as he watched us. Go on, I said, releasing her. Don't keep the patient waiting. She stumbled out of the car, took 2 steps, and then looked back, her eyes filled with the desperation of a drowning person. I gave her a little wave and hit the gas. In the mirror, her figure grew smaller and smaller until it was swallowed by the night. Back home, I opened Facebook. 5 minutes ago, he'd posted a new status, visible only to me. You only know who truly cares when you're at your most vulnerable. The photo was of Chloe's back as she cooked soup for him. Excellent. Another opportunity to make a demand. I was starting to feel grateful to this guy. I screenshotted it, saved it, and turned off my phone. Tonight, one could play sick, and the other could atone for her sins. Let them torture each other. 8. The no-marriage declaration late that night. She was curled up in my arms. Sir, she began hesitantly. My mom was asking when I was going to bring you home for dinner. She wanted to talk about us. My hand, which had been stroking her hair, paused. She noticed immediately and rushed to explain. She was just asking. You don't have to answer now. Talk about marriage? I scoffed. Aren't you getting ahead of yourself? She went completely still. WHY? Why? I turned, grabbing my phone and pulling up the gallery of Ethan's provocations. Do I need to remind you why? Running off to take care of him in the middle of the night? I've been keeping my distance from him, she said, her voice small and wounded. Really, you've seen, for the last 2 weeks I haven't. Not enough? I interrupted. It will never be enough. She sat on the bed, stunned. Listen to me, I said, putting the phone down. I will never marry a woman who can't untangle herself from another man. As for Ethan, I leaned in close, watching the color drain from her face. You two are perfect for each other. You should just get it over with. She looked as if she'd been struck by lightning. But this whole time, her voice broke. I thought we were so mutually beneficial. That's all, I said with a cold smile. You didn't actually think I'd forgiven you, did you? Her face was ashen. Tears welled up and streamed down her cheeks, but she bit her lip so hard she didn't make a sound. I lay back down, turning my back to her. Stay or go. Your choice. The room was deathly quiet. After a long time, I felt the mattress dip beside me. She carefully pressed herself against my back, burying her face between my shoulder blades. I'm not leaving, she sobbed. Even if we don't get married right now, I want to stay with you. I didn't respond. I just closed my eyes. I'll prove it to you. I'll make you forgive me, she whispered, her words punctuated by ragged sobs. Stop crying, it's annoying, I snapped, getting up and heading to the bathroom. As the hot water hit my skin, I could hear her rummaging through drawers in the bedroom. When I came out, she was sitting on the bed, wearing that ridiculously sexy negligee again, and in her hand, Sir. She looked up, her face a mess of tears. Please give me a chance. I'll do anything. I looked at her, so pathetically debasing herself, and a strange wave of irritation washed over me. Get dressed. I tossed a robe at her. Don't degrade yourself. She froze, then broke down completely, clutching my legs. Don't do this, please. Hit me, yell at me, anything but this. I pried her hands off me and walked to the study without a backward glance. In the bedroom, she collapsed on the floor, repeating over and over, It's my fault. It's all my fault. Ethan, why did you do this to me? You see, that was the cruelest punishment of all, letting her watch, with perfect clarity, how she personally destroyed every possibility for her own future. On the desk, my phone lit up. Ethan had posted another status just for me. Some people, once you miss them, are gone for a lifetime. The photo was of a mug Chloe had given him once. At the bottom, you could just make out the engraved words, to the best of friends. Another opportunity. So many I almost felt bad. Screenshot. Save. 9. Doubling down, it was a rainy day. I was in the study working, and she was kneeling on the rug beside me, dutifully organizing my files. Since the no marriage speech, she'd become even more cautious, practically walking on eggshells. She had indeed kept her distance from Ethan, and to make it up to me, she had 227 words of intimate description removed for adaptation. Just then, her phone buzzed. Ethan flashed on the screen. She snatched the phone, looking at me in a panic. I'll hang up right now. Answer it, I said without looking up. If you don't answer, how can I find another excuse? She froze, her finger hovering over the screen, trembling slightly. The moment she answered, Ethan's voice, thick with panic, came through the speaker. Chloe, I'm screwed. I lost the client files. The company is going to fire me. You know people in IT, right? Can you help me think of something? Her expression became complicated. Her mouth opened and closed a few times, but no words came out. Please. Ethan's voice was desperate. You're the only one who can help me this time. I put down my pen and watched her, amused. She took a deep breath. I'm sorry. I don't think I can help. And Ethan, can you please stop calling me? I have a boyfriend. Can you please keep your distance? Chloe, just this once, please, he begged. I promise it's the last time. I have no one else to turn to. Her fingers twisted in the hem of her shirt. I could see the struggle in her eyes. Years of feeling indebted to him were pulling at her like a reflex. It was her fatal flaw. She just didn't know how to say no. Go, I said suddenly. She looked at me, stunned. Doesn't he need you? My voice was terrifyingly calm. Go on. On the other end of the line, Ethan's voice brightened. Thank you, Chloe. I knew you wouldn't leave me hanging. She mechanically ended the call, her face pale. Sir, I don't want to go. I'll drive you. I picked up my car keys. Address. She stared at me like I was a stranger, completely unable to comprehend my reaction. 20 minutes later, the car was parked outside Ethan's building. She sat motionless in the passenger seat, as if waiting for my permission. Go on, I said with a smile. Don't keep him waiting. She suddenly broke down, sobbing. What do you want from me? You get mad when I say no, and you get mad when I say yes. Me mad? I chuckled, reaching over to wipe away her tears. You've got all wrong. I just think he seems to need you more than I do. You can't say no, can you? Fine. I'll force you to choose. That sentence was the last straw. She slumped in her seat as if her soul had been ripped out, tears streaming silently down her face. In the end, she didn't get out of the car. She sent Ethan a text saying she wasn't feeling well, then curled up in the seat, sobbing quietly. I started the car calmly. In the rearview mirror, I saw Ethan standing at his apartment entrance, his face dark as he watched us drive away. See? That's the best friend you fight so hard to protect. A bottomless pit of a man-child you can never satisfy. 10. Taking she got sick. A high fever raged for 3 days, leaving her weak and delirious. The doctor said it was a compromised immune system brought on by long-term stress. I sat by her bed, looking at her pale face, her brow furrowed, even in sleep. My phone screen lit up with a series of messages from Ethan. What's going on with you? Why won't you answer my calls? Is he threatening you? I can explain everything. I'm so sorry. This is all my fault for putting you in a tough spot. Ugh, what a snake. One day, you'll get what's coming to you. Sir, she stirred, calling out weakly. I need some water. I handed her the glass, and as she sipped, I spoke. I have an important client meeting next Monday. She immediately looked up, a hopeful light in her eyes. Do you need me to prepare anything? Yes. I stroked her hair. You know Veronica from your office, right? I hear she's a big wine collector. Her expression froze. Veronica was a VP at her company, a woman notorious for preying on her female subordinates. She instinctively tried to refuse. I don't know her that well. Didn't she tell you how pretty you were at the last company party? I smiled. Go ask her for a couple of good bottles. Tell her they're for me. Her lips trembled. But in the end, she nodded. Okay, I'll try. I kissed her forehead, satisfied. Good girl. On Monday morning, though still unwell, she forced herself to go to work. When she came home that evening, she was carrying 2 expensive bottles of red wine. There was a suspicious red mark on her neck. Veronica was very enthusiastic. She handed me the wine with her head down. She said, you could join us next time. I took the bottles and set them on the table. Thanks for your hard work. She stood there, not moving, her shoulders trembling slightly as if waiting for something. Go take a shower, I said without looking up. I've already run the water. She suddenly burst into tears and threw herself into my arms. Why aren't you mad? Why don't you ask me what happened? I let her beat against my chest, answering calmly. Does it matter? Besides, you're both women. What could have happened? The words stabbed into her like knives. She sank to the floor, looking up at me with tear-filled eyes. You don't care about me at all anymore, do you? I didn't answer. I just turned and walked into the study. Behind me, I could hear her choke sobs. Late that night, I opened my laptop and saw Ethan had a new tactic. He posted a sappy paragraph in a group chat we were both in. Sometimes people just drift apart, but I'll never forget the girl who stayed up all night to help me revise my proposal. A bunch of people replied, tagging her. I screenshotted it, then replied from my own account. So touching. By the way, the proposal she helped you with, you got the bonus for that, right? The group chat went silent. He really wasn't getting any smarter. 11. Drinking poison to quench a thirst, it was the first sunny day after a week of rain. Light filtered through the sheer curtains, filling the bedroom. She was curled up quietly in my arms, her breathing even. It was the first time she'd slept so soundly since the Veronica incident. I gently tried to pull my numb arm free, but she woke instantly, grabbing my shirt in a panic. Where are you going? Her voice was edged with fear. To make breakfast, I said simply. She stared, then her eyes widened as if she'd heard something impossible. I can do it, she said, scrambling to get up, but I pushed her back down. Stay put. In the kitchen, the sizzle of frying eggs and the aroma of coffee filled the air. I could feel her peeking at me from the doorway. When I brought the breakfast tray to the bed, her eyes were already red. Are you not mad anymore, sir? She asked timidly. I didn't answer, just handed her the coffee. Careful, it's hot. This simple gesture made her break down completely. Tears streamed down her face as she bit her lip to keep from sobbing, her shoulders shaking violently. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, she repeated over and over, like a child who had finally been forgiven. I'll be even better from now on, I promise. I reached out and gently wiped her tears away. Eat. She looked stunned, then nodded and began to eat the eggs in tiny bites, stealing glances at me as if to confirm this wasn't a dream. The sunlight on her face made the morning feel almost surreally beautiful, until her phone vibrated. The screen showed a call from her company's HR department. She looked at me nervously, only answering after I nodded. "Hello." "What?" Her face went deathly pale. But I was the one who... "Okay, I understand." After hanging up, she looked like her soul had left her body. "Veronica gave my project to someone else. She said my performance has been unstable lately." I gently stroked her hair. "Because you turned down her more direct advances?" She looked up in shock, fresh tears spilling from her eyes. You knew. Ich guessed," he sighed. "Do you want to get revenge on her?" She shook her head, looking lost. "I just want you, sir. Please don't leave me. How pathetic." I put down my coffee cup and pulled her into my arms. She immediately clung to me, burying her face in my chest and sobbing uncontrollably. "See? Just give a starving person a single scrap of food, and they will be eternally grateful." 12. Squeezing her dry a week later, at 1 in the morning, the light in the study was still on. When I walked in, she was rubbing her eyes, staring at the computer screen with a cold cup of coffee beside her. Seeing me, she quickly sat up straight. "The PowerPoint is almost done. Just give me another half hour." I walked up behind her. On the screen was a 50-page project proposal, perfectly formatted, with detailed data analysis. This was the third night in a row she had stayed up, all for my promotion review. "Here." I pointed randomly at a chart. "Add a month-over-month analysis." Her fingers trembled, but she nodded immediately. "Okay, I'll add it right now." I leaned in closer and smelled the faint scent of oil in her hair. She, who used to be so meticulous about her appearance, hadn't washed her hair in 3 days. "Tomorrow morning at 6, I whispered in her ear. "Drive me to the airport." She looked up sharply, her eyes bloodshot. "But you said yesterday the meeting was on Monday, postponed," I said, straightening up. "Is that a problem?" "No, I'll set an alarm." After I left, her phone lit up. A message from Ethan on the lock screen. "You okay? You look exhausted lately." She ignored it. At 5:30 in the morning, she was swaying on her feet in the kitchen, frying an egg. "Careful," I said, handing her the car keys. "Don't scratch the car." She nodded, packed the egg into a container, and handed me a thermos. Honey lemon tea, for the road. On the way to the airport, she almost ran a red light twice. While we were stopped, I noticed her phone light up again. It was a call from Ethan. She declined it immediately. "Not answering?" I asked. She gripped the steering wheel. "He keeps telling me you're using me." I chuckled. "And what do you think?" She was silent for a long time before finally saying softly, "If I'm being used, then I'm being used. I'm willing." When I got back from my business trip, she wasn't there to pick me up. I got home to find her asleep on the couch. On the coffee table was a pair of limited edition sneakers that required a 2-hour wait in line to buy. I picked up her phone and unlocked it with her fingerprint. The chat window with Ethan popped up. "Are you crazy? Those shoes cost over $1,000. Is he scamming you for money? Wake up, Chloe. He doesn't love you anymore." The last message was her reply. "It's enough that I love him." I put the phone back where I found it. She suddenly woke up with a start, and her eyes lit up when she saw me. "You're back. Are you hungry?" I transferred you the money." I cut her off. "For the shoes." Her face instantly went pale. "No, you don't have to. That dinner with Veronica next week." I ignored her. "You're coming with me." Her body visibly tensed. "Okay," she said, looking down. I turned to go take a shower. Behind me, I heard her muffled sobs. As the hot water came down, I heard her phone ring again outside. This time, she turned it off completely. 13. PUA for life. The sound of her retching echoed from the bathroom. I pushed open the door to find her collapsed on the tile floor, her forehead pressed against the cool porcelain of the tub. 3 days of schmoozing with Veronica had caused her ulcer to flare up again. "Take your medicine." I handed her a glass of warm water. She looked up, startled, a flicker of light in her cloudy eyes. Thank you." The medicine was bitter, but she smiled like a child who'd just been given candy. Later that night, under the soft glow of the bedside lamp, she was curled up in my arms for the first time since the no-marriage declaration. "Sir," her voice was hoarse from crying. "That project with Veronica, I closed the deal. I knew. The finance department had received the down payment yesterday. This deal would get me a double promotion. Good. I brushed the damp hair from her forehead. What do you want to eat? A reward was in order for such a significant sacrifice. She went rigid, as if she couldn't believe what she was hearing. Just the ramen place downstairs from the office, she stammered. Is that okay? How pathetic. The girl who used to frequent high-end restaurants was now asking for a $12 bowl of noodles. We'll go for lunch tomorrow. I kissed her forehead. The simple gesture made her eyes well up. I'll work even harder from now on. Please don't what? Don't abandon her? Don't give her the cold shoulder? Or don't cruelly snatch away the oxygen just as she's about to drown. I didn't answer, just patted her back rhythmically, like soothing a child after a nightmare. The ramen shop was bustling. She took small sips of broth, glancing at me every so often as if to confirm it wasn't a dream. The sun through the window illuminated her face, making the dark circles under her eyes impossible to hide. Sir, she suddenly worked up the courage. Your birthday is next week. Is the proposal finished? I interrupted. Her chopsticks clattered against the bowl. The last section is almost done. I want to see it tonight. Okay. She nodded immediately. I'll go back and finish it right now. She fumbled for her wallet, but I had already paid with my phone. The small act left her frozen in place. On the way back to the office, her phone rang 7 or 8 times. Finally, she couldn't take it anymore and just turned it off. Ethan, I asked. She nodded, her voice tight. Hey, he said I'm being PUA'd. I laughed out loud. And what do you think? If this is being PUA'd, then so be it. I hope it lasts a lifetime, she said bleakly. My only fear is that you'll stop. I was stunned into silence. At a red light, she grabbed my sleeve. Sir, can we move into your new apartment? She looked at me, her expression a mixture of humility and hope. Why? It's closer to the office. Her voice grew quieter, and I could take care of you more. The real reason was to get away from Ethan, wasn't it? A demonstration of loyalty? I looked at her and suddenly remembered the proud girl from 6 months ago who would get angry with me over a backless dress. Whatever you want, I said coolly. Her eyes lit up instantly. I'll pack tonight, she said excitedly. Late that night, she was in the study with her laptop, finishing the proposal. As I walked by, I saw she was crying. On the screen was an email, a photo of a doctor's report from Ethan. Gastric bleeding from a stomach ulcer. He was hospitalized. Go if you want to, I said, tossing a box of tissues onto the desk. She shook her head violently. No, we agreed. I'm never. I leaned down and wiped away her tears. The unexpected tenderness made her freeze. Last time, I said softly, go and pay back everything you owe him. Her pupils dilated. She suddenly threw herself at me, wrapping her arms around my waist and sobbing. I'm not going. I don't want anything anymore. I just want you. I let her cry into my shirt, my fingers stroking her hair. 14. Her mother pays a visit on Sunday morning. Her mother showed up unannounced. When the doorbell rang, Chloe was cooking. The sound made her jump, and hot liquid splashed onto the back of her hand, leaving an angry red mark. I'll get it. I stopped her from checking the burn and went to the door. Standing outside was a well-kept middle-aged woman. I could see Chloe in her features, but her gaze was much sharper. Hello, Mom. I stepped aside to let her in. So you're Chloe's boyfriend? Her mother looked me up and down. I hear you've been living together for 2 years. Her mother picked up a teacup and spoke slowly. That nice young man, Ethan, came by the house yesterday. Brought a lot of gifts. I could see Chloe tense up. He said you two have had some misunderstandings lately. Her mother gave me a meaningful look. Young people need to have some decency when they're dating. I just smiled and said nothing. Oh, by the way, her mother suddenly turned to Chloe. Ethan got a promotion. It was for that project you helped him with. He wanted to thank you. And he also said, Mom, stop it. Chloe shot up, her face pale. I'll go cut up some fruit. She fled into the kitchen. Her mother sighed and pulled out an invitation. Next Saturday is Ethan's promotion party. He invited both of you. I opened the invitation. Inside, in small print, it read, Looking forward to seeing you, Chloe. Interesting. From the kitchen, I could hear muffled sobs. Her mother acted as if she heard nothing, continuing to list Ethan's good qualities. How successful he was, how thoughtful, how suitable for marriage. By the way, she said, pausing at the door before she left, do you two have any plans to get married? I smiled and glanced toward the kitchen. You have to ask her. The moment the door closed, there was a thud from the kitchen. Chloe had collapsed. I walked over and looked down at her. Sir. She looked up, her face a mess of tears, her voice shattered. If I agreed to go on a date with Ethan, will you really leave me for good? I crouched down, my voice gentle. Do you want to go? I don't want to. She grabbed my wrist. But you don't want to get married, and my mom is forcing me. Then go, I said, easily prying her hand away. After all, we were never getting married anyway. The words landed like a final verdict. She went limp, her eyes terrifyingly blank. Just then, my phone vibrated. Ethan had updated his Facebook status. Finally getting my chance to wait for you. Glad I never gave up. The photo was of an empty chair at a cafe, with a cup of her favorite caramel macchiato sitting opposite it. See? He even remembers your coffee order. Such a devoted snake. 15. The engagement after the promotion party. Things moved faster than I expected. Her mother started calling almost daily, the conversation always circling back to Ethan. The imported fruit he sent, the specialist he recommended, the discount on a condo he helped secure. Every detail was a reminder. This is what an ideal son-in-law looks like. Chloe stopped sleeping. I'd often wake up in the middle of the night to find her huddled on the balcony, endlessly scrolling through her phone, her eyes bloodshot. One morning before dawn, I finally went out and took the phone from her hand. The screen was open to her chat with Ethan. The latest message, sent 10 minutes prior, read, I know you still love him, but I'll wait. How touching, I said, handing the phone back. Aren't you going to reply? She looked up at me, her face pale, her voice hoarse. How does sir want me to reply? The answer satisfied me. I leaned down. Tell him you'll marry him. Her pupils constricted, and she started to shake violently. No. Say it. I tightened my grip. Tears rolled down her cheeks. I'm going to marry Ethan. The words had barely left her mouth before she broke down completely. I let her go, watching her crumple to the floor. See? Your entire being is rejecting this. But you'll still do it. The next morning, her mother called, ecstatic. Ethan's parents had proposed they get the engagement settled. Chloe held the phone, mechanically responding, Okay, yes, whatever you think is best. After hanging up, she turned to me. Sir, congratulations, I said without looking up from my paper. That single word was the final blow. I calmly finished my coffee and left for the day. In a department store window, a mannequin in a wedding dress smiled blissfully. I took a picture and sent it to her. This one would suit you. Immediately, my phone began to buzz relentlessly. Her name flashed on the screen again and again. I didn't answer. When I got home that night, she was sitting in the dark living room, completely still. He pulled some strings and got the license processed early, she said, her voice distant. The wedding is next month. I flicked on the lights. Her expression was vacant. Well then, congratulations in advance, Mrs. Miller. A wedding is a great idea. After the roles are reversed, I can make her come running on her anniversary with Ethan, too. The title made her flinch. She suddenly launched herself at me, clinging to my waist. Don't make me leave. I'm begging you. I can still be with you, just like before. I looked down at her pathetic state and suddenly remembered the first time I saw her, smiling in the sunlight of the university library. How long ago that felt. All right, I said. She looked up, stunned, unable to believe her ears. It's perfect, actually. I stroked her cheek. I've been needing a friend. I can call any time. Outside, the first cicadas of summer began their deafening chorus. 16. The sacrifice the night before the wedding. It was pouring rain. I stood on the balcony, smoking, and watched a stumbling figure run through the downpour. She didn't have an umbrella. Her white dress was soaked through, clinging to her body. The doorbell rang 3 times before I leisurely went to answer it. She stood on the doorstep, dripping wet, her makeup ruined, clutching a bag in her right hand. I came to return your things, she trembled. I stepped aside to let her in, but she didn't move, just held out the paper bag. This is everything you ever gave me. I washed it all. I took the bag, tossed it on the couch, and went to the bathroom for a towel. When I came back, she was still standing in the same spot. Come in, I said, tossing the towel at her, or go back. That seemed to shatter her forced composure. She actually smiled. Does she think I still care about her? But then, as if remembering something, she staggered forward and collapsed into my arms, shaking. I regret it. I don't want to marry him. I let her hold me, saying nothing. But the invitations are all out. My mom took their money for the wedding. Her tears mingled with the rain on my shirt. I can't get out of it. And I asked coldly. She looked up, her face wet, her eyes a mixture of desperation and resolve. Tonight, I want to be yours one last time. 686 words of explicit and emotionally charged description removed for adaptation. To belong to you completely and openly. And so, during which, finally, hours later, she was curled up in my arms, just like countless nights before. Sir, will you run away with me? Don't be ridiculous. That single phrase crushed her. She was silent for a long time. Write me an IOU. Considerate payment for all my trouble lately, I said shamelessly. After all, I've put in so much effort. And it was, okay, it's not really about the money. It's just an excuse for you to have a reason to see me later, I said cruelly. Okay, yes, thank you, sir, she said, excitedly taking the paper and writing out the IOU. At 3 a.m, the rain stopped. She got up quietly, carefully erasing any trace of her presence. At the door, she looked back one last time, her eyes empty. Goodbye. The moment the door clicked shut, my phone lit up. Ethan had posted on Facebook, marrying the girl of my dreams tomorrow. Can't sleep. The picture was of a pair of elegant wedding rings. I opened the comments and slowly typed. Congratulations. Make sure she drinks some warm water. She just got caught in the rain. After hitting send, I turn off my phone. Happy wedding day, Ethan. I wonder how you'll feel when you see my little provocation. 17. Paying a debt. I didn't go to the wedding. That night, I got a text from her. He got drunk today. Nothing happened. Tomorrow I'll tell him and let him think, good. Then for the rest of this month, don't, I replied. Okay, sir. See you, Snake. It's my turn now. Isn't this what you call karma? The morning after the wedding, she showed up at my door. Sir, I brought you breakfast, she said quietly. I'll leave right away. I stepped closer, smelling the faint scent of her body wash. Running out on the first day of your marriage, I whispered in her ear. Aren't you afraid people will talk? She flinched, and tears instantly welled in her eyes. He's asleep. I snuck out. Go home, I said, straightening up, my voice cold. Don't give people a reason to talk. She bit her lip so hard it must have hurt, then suddenly grabbed my wrist. Sir, last night, I swear nothing, it doesn't matter. I shook her hand off. You're not my wife. That sentence completely broke her. She stumbled backward, then turned and ran into the rain, forgetting her umbrella. A few days later, at 2 a.m, my phone screen lit up the darkroom. You up? Less than 3 seconds after I sent the text, the indicator showed she was typing. Yes, sir. I could almost see her scrambling out of bed. That's $6,800 I lent you. Time to pay up. The cursor in her text box blinked for a long time before she replied. Can I transfer it to you tomorrow morning? I deliberately waited until 3 a.m. to respond. Transfer it now. 5 minutes later, a notification from my bank app popped up. A deposit of $8,760. Principal and interest paid in full. Another text followed immediately. The extra is interest. I'm sorry it took so long. I smiled and called her. I could hear her suppressed breathing on the other end. She was probably hiding somewhere to take my call. I hear your husband knows Christian at Longhurst Capital? I get straight to the point. Yes, but set up a dinner with him tomorrow. I cut her off. I need his approval on a project. After a long silence, she whispered, Okay, I'll try. By the way, sir, I haven't let him for the past few days. I told him I wasn't feeling well. Good, very obedient. Suddenly, I heard a door slam in the background, followed by Ethan's irritated voice. Who are you talking to in the middle of the night? The line went dead. The next day at noon, she sent me the location of a restaurant with a message. He said something came up and asked me to keep you company first. When I arrived, she had already ordered all my favorite dishes. Where's Chun? I asked. She answered nervously. He said to schedule a time directly with his secretary. I put down my chopsticks. So you lied to me? Or did you just want to see me? No, she grabbed my hand in a panic. I really begged him, but he insisted. Before she could finish, her phone vibrated. A call from Ethan. Forget it. The usual spot tonight, I said, getting up. 10 o'clock. But today is our dinner with his parents? I paused. All the more reason to celebrate. As I walked out of the restaurant, I glanced back. She was still sitting there, staring at the untouched food. At 9:50 p.m., she appeared outside the bar. She was wearing a red dress and a silk scarf around her neck, her makeup perfectly done. "Sir," she handed me a file folder. The contract, signed by Mr. Chun. I opened it. It was the pricing agreement, the hardest part of the deal. "How did you manage it?" She stirred her drink, looking down. "His son wants an internship at Ethan's company." I raised an eyebrow. "And so I promised." Her voice got quieter. "I'd have my husband save a spot for him. So, a trade of favors. Except I got the benefit, and Ethan took on the risk." I suddenly laughed out loud. How ironic. She was using her new resources to pave the way for me. This was 100 times better than marrying her and being tormented by Ethan every day. "To you," I said, raising my glass. "Mrs. Miller." The title made her flinch, and she spilled half her drink. "Yes, sir." She suddenly grabbed my hand. "Can I ask you for a favor?" "What is it?" "Next time," she said cautiously, "could you please not ask me to meet on a Wednesday?" "Why?" "Because every Wednesday we have to go to his parents' house." "Well, that depends on your performance," I said, tilting her chin up. 366 words of intimate description removed for adaptation. 18. Finale over the next month. I found all sorts of excuses to see her. The cat was sick. I couldn't find something she'd left behind, or it was time to make a payment on her debt. I had plenty of IOUs, after all. Every time she came to help, she ended up staying very late. And every time, I'd post something on Facebook, visible only to Ethan. Now, it was his turn to suffer. They fought constantly. Her only reply was a cool, "I used to help you all the time. Why can't I help him?" That sentence made Ethan snap. "I gave him up for you. Can't I even help out a friend?" "Don't be so paranoid. I told you, I'm not feeling well. How could anything happen? I'm not that kind of person. If there was a problem, we would have gotten married long ago. It never would have been you. If you keep this up, let's just get a divorce." It completely shut him down. He desperately wanted to pull a dramatic movie scene, say "I don't love you anymore," and walk away after a 7-day countdown, but he just couldn't let go. Of course, I'd occasionally send Ethan a text myself, telling him there was nothing going on with Chloe, that I just needed a hand with something. "You don't mind, right?" It drove him crazy. He had no response. After all, I was just using his own playbook against him, only better. Ethan's past behavior also gave Chloe the perfect excuse to claim he was being suspicious, so they started sleeping in separate rooms. Poor Ethan thought it was because of what happened on their wedding night. He blamed himself for getting too drunk to remember anything. When he found out she was pregnant, he was overjoyed, becoming even more attentive and banishing any lingering doubts. Ethan bought a new BMW. What he didn't know was that his brand new 3 Series, the car he cherished and babied, was also being driven by me, with Chloe in the passenger seat. Of course, I floored on the highway. It wasn't my car. Why would I care about keeping it nice? Later, my friend, Reed Wright, found out about all this. He told me my behavior was unethical and helped me see that my values were warped. I was ashamed. After many talks with Reed, we decided to end this toxic relationship. We had to embrace positivity. "We can't see each other anymore. You're a married woman now," I said. "You're right. I am sorry. I'll be a good wife to Ethan from now on," Chloe said. In the distance, my friend Reed Wright saw our exchange and smiled a saintly smile. The world became harmonious and beautiful again. The light of a moral guardian shone down, making our city, Providence City, all the more glorious and sacred.